What's up, everybody? Simon here. In this episode of Tech Visibility, we're going to go ahead and review probably the most popular webcam out on the market. We're going to unbox this thing. It is the Logitech C922 Pro model. We're going to test to see how it sounds. We're also going to go ahead and compare it with the Logitech Brio 4K, which I have done a review here on the channel. Check out that review. It's gotten thousands of likes and visits, or views I should say, and people love that review. So I last week did a comparison between the Logitech Brio and the Logitech C920, which is the previous model to the C922. This is the newer version. It's still available on the Logitech website. It's available on Amazon. These go for about $70 or so. In this video, we're going to compare it, see how well the quality is in low light, as well as how well it compares to the Brio, which is 4K. This is a 1080p camera. However, it does do 60 frames per second at 720p, which is important. And then it does 30 frames per second at 1080p. So we're going to go ahead and see if this is a good camera in comparison to the Brio. It's half the price, so it might be a better option for you. Before I get into this video, unbox the C922 Pro, I ask you guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out some of the other videos we've done, and I appreciate you watching. Let's get into this unboxing. Okay, so here's the box. It's very simple. You know, it tells you that it has 1080p at 30 frames per second. Then you have 720p at 60 frames per second. So it looks very similar to the C920. This is just a better processing in terms of frames, and the box is pretty standard. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this an open. And then it came with the 3 months license for the XSplit. We're not going to go into that. XSplit is basically a background removing software. A lot of the meeting companies now include something to remove the background, and you could put pretty much anything or even blur your background. So let's get this plugged in and let's see how it compares. Now I am going to go ahead and test it first and do a screen recording to make sure that the camera works very well. So let me go ahead and do that now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record the screen on here. This is for the video editor, and then we could put the 2 or the 3 cameras, because there'll be the Logitech Brio. I'll say it's the Logitech Brio, then I'll say this is the C922, and we're gonna go ahead and do a recording on the screen, and I'll switch between cameras, okay? So you'll know which camera is being recorded, and then you could side-by-side screenshot. Okay guys, so here I am recording with the C922. This is with a lot of light. On the other screen you have my professional camera that I'm recording with, which is the A6400 I'm currently looking at. Right in front of me is the C922 Pro. The audio should be taken from the C922 Pro while I'm talking to this camera, so you could see the audio itself. And now switching to the audio in the A6400 with a Rode microphone, you could see the difference in the audio quality as well, especially if you're listening to your earphones. Back to the C922, this is the audio from it. This is the visual from the C922. This is how I look. Now let's do a low light setting, okay? I'm gonna turn off one of the lights here, and I'm gonna turn off another light. You see how the C922 adjusted to the light itself. It basically captures me really well. If I go back to the A6400 without this low light, you could see how dark I look in the split screen. And in fact, we may want to run this in a split screen version so you could see both accounts of which camera does what. So back to the C922 Pro. This is the low light setting. Actually looks really good. I'm impressed, and I am looking at this recording with optimism. So it looks like it's quality. We're going to go ahead and now switch and stop this recording from the C922, which is the camera and the audio, and we're going to go ahead and change it to the Logitech Brio, so you can see how the Brio records in comparison to the C922. So I'm going to go ahead, change the audio, change the recording to the Brio right now. Okay guys, so I changed to the Brio. This is the Brio recording in terms of volume and the microphone as well as the quality. I've turned on the lights again, so this is in the natural light setting with the Logitech Brio. In this video, you should be able to see how well does the Logitech Brio do against the C922 Pro, which I just recorded with the audio as well as the C922 Pro camera. Both of them are mounted side by side in front of my monitor. I still have my A6400 right here, and on the A6400 you could determine the quality as well. Right now we're recording with the Logitech Brio, which is a Pro 4K camera. You could check out that review on my channel as well. It was a great review. I went into detail with the camera. The Logitech C922 did pretty well from what I could see. You could tell it's a little bit better quality with the Brio. I feel like the Brio is smoother. My skin tones are a little bit better to me. However, that's subjective. You could tell by the video yourself. So hopefully you guys got a good perspective in regards to which quality and audio of the Logitech series you like. Remember, the Brio goes for about $150 to $200. The C922 is going for about $80 all the way to about $120 depending where you get it. So that's a big savings and a big difference. So if you could cut your cost in half and still take your meetings professionally, the Logitech C922 may be the camera for you. Right now we're showing the Logitech Brio, and just as comparison, I hope you enjoyed that. Okay folks, so there you have it. We had the comparison of the Logitech Brio, and we've also shown the comparison of the C922 Pro, which we just unboxed. I did an audio comparison for both for you guys so you could see the quality of audio in the same room. We did do a low light test with the C922. Obviously, the Logitech Brio and the C922 do a great job in low light versus a professional camera, it does not. So keep that in mind. So even if you spend almost $1,000, you need a light above you to really reflect on your face to get a good quality meeting. So that's why I like those webcams for meetings. They're incredible. You could determine which camera you like best or which webcam you like best in comparison. Is it worth spending a little more? For me, I would definitely opt to spend a little bit more and get the 4K Brio. I just feel like my flesh tones are better. The smoothness of that camera is better. There are some zoom options as well, but overall the texture to me just is slightly better. However, is it worth doubling the price from the C922 to the Logitech Brio 4K? It really depends how many meetings you take, the quality of meetings you need to have, and remember, your job's on the line in these conference meetings as a lot more people are working from home nowadays. So the Logitech C922 is a great starter. I definitely get it over the C920. However, the Brio may be the camera for you if you're in some high profile meetings. You definitely would want a 4K camera. And now I'm back on the Sony A6400, just giving you a final wrap up. Let's go over some quick specs on the C922. So as you guys seen, the C922 comes with a nice tripod. I did enjoy that tripod. It is right here, and I think it's very convenient. I will keep it. You could put it pretty much anywhere on the desk and have a good meeting, and it's great for a conference room as well. So if you have people at the end of the conference room, you could probably capture all of them with the wide angle. The C922 features a 78-degree angle of view. It's not the widest angle, however, it's pretty wide to capture a conference room. You get full 30 frames per second at 1080p, and you get a full 60 frames per second and 720p. Now, depending on the streamers you use, you could alter these settings to accommodate it. However, if your connection is not as fast, it automatically adjusts your streaming anyway. The more frames per second means that it's a much smoother video that you're relaying to the individuals that are watching. So you can actually record full videos in 60 frames per second and still be in the HD category, and you're gonna look smooth on camera. The C922 features light correction and autofocus. We've seen that when I turned off the lights. Again, when you turn off these lights with a professional camera, it goes very dark. However, with the C922, it adjusted accordingly and professionally, and it did a great job making sure that my face was still highlighted. What I like about the C922 is it has two microphones, just like the Brio, on each side to capture your voice, and it captures a more realistic sound from every angle. The most important part in these meetings is people need to be able to hear you. And the setup on these cameras is extremely easy. It's just plugging it in to a USB-A and selecting from the drop down which camera you want to use in your meeting. And in this case, I selected between the C922 and the Logitech Brio. Very simple plug and play. There is a menu or software you can download to adjust a lot of these settings. You could check that out in my Logitech 4K Brio video review, where I went in depth on pretty much all the settings and the capabilities of that camera, and the same software applies to the C922. If you're not getting that professional look, you could fine tweak it a bit to raise the darkness levels and so forth, and also adjust your frames. Overall, the C922 is a great camera. I love the additional little tripod. I love the price point of it, and the quality is very good, and the mic quality is good as well, in my opinion, for most meetings. I would still, with a bigger budget, opt for the Logitech Brio 4K. It's my personal opinion. It's just the best in the market, and you deserve the best. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and check out techvisibility.com for the latest product news and reviews. Thank you.